Hi guys, I'm Andy. Welcome back to Backpacking UK. If hiking, backpacking and wild camping are your thing, please hit that subscribe button because that's what this channel is all about. Right, today we'll be talking about my 2022 hiking boots. Now these are all the hiking boots that I was wearing last year. So they range from like hiking trainers, lightweight hiking boots, fast hiking boots, mid-height hiking boots and full height hiking boots. So got a range of brands here. Some are much better than others, but what I can tell you is the results on what you would expect. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go through each one quickly, tell you a little about each one and the strengths and the weaknesses of each. So first up, we've got the Asics Cumulus GTX hiking trainers, the £345, 309 grams each, and you can also use them for running. Next up, we've got the Inov-8 Roclite G 345 GTX hiking boots. So these are a fast hiking boot, £155, 345 grams. Then we've got the Keen NXIS Evo waterproof hiking boots. Again, these are like a fast hiking boot, £145, 418 grams each. Now these are some of my mid-height Salomon hiking boots, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. Next up, I've got the Trekker Lite III GTX hiking boots. So these are like a trekking hiking boot, £180 and 570 grams each. Then we've got the classic Salomon Quest 3 4D GTX hiking boots. So these are a real rugged hiking boot, £180, 640 grams each. And then lastly, we've got my Salomon Quest Element Gore Tex hiking boot. Now these are a backpacking specific hiking boot. They're £165 and they weigh 545 grams each. So first up are my Salomon Quest Element hiking boots. Now these are basically a lighter weight version of the Salomon Quest 4s. So there's basically more fabric and less leather. That's the only difference. And these were 100% waterproof throughout. Now I nick wax all my hiking boots, so they do have a bit of an advantage over the standard boots. But full height hiking boots, they did take about, I'd say 15 miles at the start to really wear in properly. Mainly it was just a little bit, had little niggles at the top, but once I wore these in, they were absolutely superb. These, I cannot recommend these enough for backpacking. Next up, and I will be getting the Salomon Quest 4s as soon as these wear out. I really look after these boots, hence why I haven't upgraded yet. Really rugged. They have saved my bacon so many times. The one thing I will say, wet rocks. The grip on wet rocks isn't that great with these boots, but apart from that, they are absolutely superb. Next up is the boot that took me by surprise this year. These are the Trekker Lite 3. So Aku's like a top handmade Italian hiking boot brand. These, as you can see, have been absolutely trashed. These are 100% waterproof too. They've got a Vibram sole on them. Now there's a lot of mesh at the top, a lot of fabric. 100% waterproof again. They really are. These were comfy, like straight out the box. They were so nice, and I've got to say that was the same with my Quest 3s as well. Really comfy. A sort of in between a full height and a mid height boot, I would say. Just stunning boots, Italian handmade boots. They're expensive, but they are superb. And I believe they supply the Italian army as well. Really did surprise me. The soles are quite stiff, but there's loads of grip, absolutely tons of grip. Next, so these Salomon mid-height hiking boots, I've forgotten which model they are, but I absolutely hate them. I'll never wear these ever again. So you would have thought a mid-height hiking boot would be more comfortable than a full-height hiking boot. Not in these case. Both of these Salomon hiking boots are way more comfy than these. And the reason for it, they've got like a gusseted tongue. And part of that is to stop water getting into the boot. But the sides of the gusset digs into your feet. The two ridges that run down the tongue here dig into your feet. It's absolutely awful boot. These are the boots I've actually worn the most. These are Keen, which are American brand. Keen NXIS Evo, sort of waterproof. Again, Gore Tex hiking boot. These are all Gore Tex hiking boots. Now these are a fast hiking boot, and they're really light. And it's the sole on them. It's not like a flat sole, it's sort of raised slightly. And when you really get a move on, they really make sense and you find yourself flying along. I'm quite a fast walker, so these really did suit me. Again, surprisingly, these did actually take a bit of wearing in. Now it's got this special, like, they call it heel lock at the back, and it was just really stiff to start off with, and I really wasn't ironically keen on them at the start, but as soon as they were worn in, absolutely superb. Now for me, big disappointment, I've got to say, this year. I wore these when I did the 9 Peaks challenge in the Peak District, which is 23 miles it takes on the 9 edges in the Peak District National Park. Now these are super light. These are lightweight hiking boots. Got really good grips. They've got this like graphene technology in them. Lots of mesh. They are Gore Tex. I did have damp feet with them as well one time this year as well. It's a bit of an odd one. You would have thought these are really comfy. But I end up having to still wear thick socks with these, and I get pressure points on the sole of my feet, so they're not actually as comfy as some of the bigger, heavier boots. And in some ways you got less fatigue because you're walking with less weight, but in other ways, if your feet are hurting, that fatigues you more as well. It's also got to mention, when we did that, Brian, who I went with, took some just bog standard Asics running trainers. His feet were in bits. That trail's sort of like lots of little stones, like little rocks, and again pressure points absolutely ruined his feet. Next, I use these for running and for walking in as well. Sometimes you get those, like even in summer, you get those mornings where you've got a lot of dew on the grass. If you've just taken trainers, they will absolutely soak your trainers. So within the first few minutes, water will get into your trainers at the front. You'll just have damp feet all day. So the idea of me getting these, they've got a Gore Tex liner in them, which does help stop that. However, they're not actually that comfy. The sole on them is it's not like a normal running sole. It's a bit more rigid. It's just not that comfy, and you can sort of hear the Gore Tex liner in them. It's a bit of a flapping sort of sound. I always find with Gore Tex liners in lightweight products, they're just a little bit noisy, really. So that's my summary of my hiking boots of 2022. Comfort factor actually comes from the bigger boots, not the smaller boots and the smaller shoes. Me myself, reasonably fit, so I don't get that fatigued too much. One thing I do struggle with when I go in Snowdonia in the Lake District, I always seem to roll my ankles. So a full height boot really just offers me that extra level of protection. The Salomon just need to sort out their wet rock grip. If they did that, absolutely 10 out of 10, without a shadow of a doubt. But I really like these Keen boots in particular. But my boot of the year, I've got to give to these Aku boots. They're just superb. Took me by surprise. Now, the sole, the only thing I will say is you wouldn't buy these for like just normal sort of public footpaths. They don't really make sense, and the sole doesn't feel that comfortable. You stick these on a mountain, you stick these on rocks, and they are unreal. They really are that good. But one thing I will say with hiking boot reviews, some of you will go, yeah, that's the best boots I've ever had. Some of you will say, they're awful, that review's rubbish, that they're the worst boots I've ever had. If anything divides people on hiking gear, it's hiking boots. Everyone has different experiences. And I think that's because everyone's boots, feet, sort of slightly different shapes, and there isn't really one boot that's suitable for everyone. So I totally understand if everyone has different opinions of these hiking boots. But all I can say is this is my experience of these anyway. But I'll put all the links in the description. Please check out my other hiking videos too, and hope to see you out there soon. Cheers.